when you're rolling, just don't think about the other hand. I could be here, I could be here. Doesn't matter. But from the Folk-Style position, it's trapping down and hitting. If I'm Tan, it's the same mechanism. I'm trapping down, hitting. Okay? Now it depends on the energy. If he's really stiff here as he's rolling up, his whole body lurches forward. Okay? So from the Folk position, there's really two attacks for the most part. It's either at the top, trap, hit, or it's from here, attack. When you're here attacking, I usually use that at the same time. All right? And then the follow-ons. So an application is you're moving, you're using the attack and then the backhand to trap. Or the front hand that you hit with to come back to trap, so the backhand punches. Okay? The Folk can also go underneath. So if I'm here, okay? So the bottom hand from the Tan or the Folk, it can attack straight, straight. It can also roll underneath. Okay? Underneath. Depending on the energy, if Will's leaning really heavily on me, like this, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to literally adjust off and counterattack. Because the energy is so stiffly coming in, I don't have to do a technique. If it's so stiff, by doing this, I got to work to do that. Yeah. So literally, it's easier just to take them offline because the whole body, there's so much tension here. Does that make sense? Okay, but there's other ones of tension you can hit, and if he's really stiff, you can use his hold that to shock him, but I don't want to talk about that right now. This is just entry techniques from Chisao. Okay? So, forward, it can guide across. And I guide across, typically I'm doing that if Will's pushing that direction. I let that go. So the bottom hand, as it rolls, comes around. But it's because Will's guiding his energy too much one direction, or too much one direction, that I let that guide it across. Does that make sense? So when I say guide, it doesn't mean I'm going to force him across, because if I do that, now I'm creating the energy, and now I expose myself for a counterattack. Does that make sense? Okay. So just real simple. There's other ones I told you about, like okay, so we talked about this hand going straight. I can do moves like this at the same time and do a grab and attack. Let's say this hand's really stiff, that one's weak, I can just do something like that. But the entry level, don't complicate matters by going, oh, this hand's doing this, but what's the other hand doing? It doesn't matter for right now. Just right now, think about the entry techniques and the timing of it. Finish, attack, roll. Finish, attack, roll. When I say finish, finish, attack. Finish, attack. Does that make sense? So practicing the timing. Okay, so it can guide around. It can go straight. Another one I just did right there is the POC. It depends on the person, the structure, the energy, the feeling. Don't look at this as monolithic, like, oh, this is how you do it. It's a mechanism, but you got to practice the skill set so when you feel that, oh, now I need to go. So remember, anytime a feeling and sensing is when you recognize, when you hit, what technique do you use? That just comes with time, right? Time and experience. Okay, so straight punch, trap back, okay? If I'm underneath, I can go straight punch, inside POC, attack. I can, as I'm rolling, I can roll, lop, and then follow up with other techniques. Okay? But simplify. What can this hand do? It can punch straight. Now what can happen? Oh, I can POC and come in. What if I'm like this already? I can come in like that as well. Does that make sense? Depending on the energy. If I roll like this and he rolls really stiff, I'm going to come in like that because this hand's really stiff. That's where the POC style is really effective. It's not Will punches. It's contact, boom. You're already in tight, he's grabbing, pulling. Okay, he's going to pull like that. I'm just going to counter. But if his hands are up like this, and he's moving around, he's really stiff, that's why I do the inside pock, because there's tension there. Again, experience and time. Don't worry about that right now. Just go through the technique. So to practice, to keep life simple, doesn't matter what the other hand is. If you're in folk, trap down, punch. If you're in folk, attack, pock. So folk, just use one hand roll. Folk. Same time. Okay? Folk. It can go underneath. But go slow when you do it and think about the position you're in as you're rolling. Okay, what hand can I attack with here? What hand can I attack with? Well, I can roll, depending on what the person's doing. It's repetitions, like everything. I threw a bunch of stuff all at you at once. I could go, okay, technique, tiger whips the tail B. You trap hit, right? And
Hungry crane eats shrimp?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Tiger seeks dinner, right? I mean, we can do all that, but remember, it's a concept-based art. So when you're involved now, there's other complicated ones. I'm just going to cover it to show you. There's all kinds of cool, creative, fun things you can do. Like one is trap down this way. I don't like doing that one because the other hand's free. If I trap down here, if that hand disengages, now he can punch me with that hand. So it's a 1-for-1. Okay? Another one would be if he's really, really stiff here and he's pushing across my body, the arm literally, as I'm rolling, I just roll over the top. Okay? Into the clavicle area. Same thing the other hand, if it's really, really stiff. Now, yeah, thank you. Yeah. I was doing it earlier, and Will was going over here, so I had to like work to get around it.
I didn't want you to do it.
But again, it depends on the energy. If he's pushing that way. Okay, I'm sorry. This hand's like this. If he's pushing across my body, I just let it roll. But I'm maintaining contact here as he's pushing, and then my elbow maintains a defensive positioning right there. Does that make sense? So practice, and one person is attacking, the other person is defending. Really, the other person is just being a guinea pig. So Will's going to practice. I'm going to be the guinea pig for Will. So about one real quick thing. When you're practicing your attacks, you lead. Lead the other person. It's real important because if you're leading, then you're creating the rhythm and timing. Okay? Later on, you let the other person lead, then you go with his flow and then counterattack. Let's not worry about that right now. Okay, so Will's going to lead. So I'm just a guinea pig. Doesn't matter what. So I'm giving him an arm to use to beat me up with. I've got to cross me underneath.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that one was.
Okay, does that make sense, everybody?